Hi and welcome to Intensive Driving Courses NI. This is an Ards test route and this is out towards Cumber via Ballyrainy Road. So I'm going to do a full commentary and a few hints and tips along the way. So obviously you'll start off at the test centre, you'll have done your show and tell questions and you'll be asked to move off and you're following out of the test centre. It's a one-way system, so hopefully your examiner will guide you around towards the left. Driving around the back of the test centre, it's also an MOT centre, so expect cars to be exiting just on your right and just follow the road round, keeping its speed approximately sort of 10-15 miles an hour. The first of two ramps on the way out, it says 15, but advice is first gear 5 miles an hour. It's quite a new ramp and it's quite severe. You will then exit out of the test centre. You have a second ramp just at the gate and you can take this approximately 15 miles an hour, and you've now entered Jubilee Road, which is onto the public roads. Building up speed accordingly. It's quite an industrial area, so you're expecting sort of lorries, other learner drivers, etc. and people who are not sort of used to certain areas like tile shops, DIY, so you can get a lot of sort of sudden stops and starts as you go along. You may be asked to pull in just at the next straight bit of curb, and it's just going to be your normal procedure. No white lines in most of Jubilee Road, so you need to be prepared for people maybe taking more of the road than they should, and obviously working accordingly there with parked vehicles, etc. At the end of Jubilee Road, there's a set of traffic lights. Now, depending on the route you're going, you could obviously be asked to turn left or right. On this occasion, we're going to turn left at the traffic lights. You'll be told that in good time, roughly about now, at the traffic lights, turn left. So it's your normal sequence: top mirror, left mirror, indicate if you want, because it's a left turn only, and bring it up nice and gently to your normal stop. Exiting round, taking position in the left hand lane unless you're told differently, and we have now entered into Cumber Road. At the next set of traffic lights, you'll be asked to turn left. So again, top mirror, left mirror, indicator is individual preference because it's left turn only, and as we can see, we've got a filter arrow, so keep an eye on that because it can come on even if the other light is red for straight on. Selecting first gear. If it's going to be more than a pause, then activate the handbrake roughly after about 5 seconds. Checking both sides of mirrors, etc. for bikes and bicycles as we move off. And we're now entering Circular Road. Circular Road, it's a 30 mile an hour area, but it's got speed ramps. So you're going to look on average 18 to 20. Most vehicles are quite happy in second gear. And the first and the last ramp is normally the highest to alert drivers. In and around here you've got houses, you will have a large grammar school shortly going to be coming up on the right hand side, so obviously be aware if you're in and around school time for sort of school traffic. Checking well ahead, we've got a pedestrian crossing, so sort of normal guidelines. You're checking to see if you can see anybody near the crossing itself that may have activated it, etc. On this occasion there's nobody, and the wait sign or the red ring of LEDs has not been lit up. Travelling further up, we can see we've got two parked vehicles, the van, which is going to cause us to go near the white line, so we're going to check top and right mirrors. The signal's required because we can see an oncoming vehicle, and I'm going to hold back roughly 2 car lengths, and that's just to give me plenty of room to take the great course, which is roughly about a car door width from the vehicle itself. Once positioned, the indicator can cancel, easing back in now for the next vehicle, and again, because I'm going to bar a road and I've got oncoming vehicles, indicator applied, because again I'm going to be coming well out over the white line here. Just checking, 90-degree check in the window, etc. And once we've cleared the car, checking top and left mirrors again. At the next set of traffic lights, your examiner will ask you to turn left. Normal procedure. On this occasion, you have a choice of 2 directions in the left lane, so I'm going to mirror and signal. turning into this road, always expecting parked cars and maybe parked obstacles, etc. And we've now entered Scrabo Road. Because there's no different speed limit signs in view, we're going to treat it like the same speed limit as the last road, which was 30. But again, we're going to drive accordingly. And a rough guide is, for each side of parked cars, drop approximately 5 miles an hour. So I'm doing in around about 20 here. And I'm hovering just on or over the centre white line, which is fine. Approaching a roundabout, you can see the board. Normally you'll be asked by the examiner before the board so you can check it. We're going to be asked, or we're going to take the third exit, which is signposted there, Belfast and Bangor. This roundabout is quite small and the sight lines on approach are not the best, so approach with caution, and you may need to stop, which is fine, and just entering on with your normal judgment. Leaving the roundabout, just your top mirror, left mirror, indicate to leave if it's safe to do so. And always remember you can loop around if you can't exit after a right turn. We're now on Blair Main Road South. Approaching another roundabout, we're going to take the first exit to the left up towards Belfast. So normal procedures, scan and plan at the roundabout and enter on if it's safe. We have a short carriageway section now, and this is known as Kemstone Road. And as you can see, we're into the national speeds, we're checking the mirrors, and if possible, building up the speed now to show that we're aware of the national speed, or 45 miles an hour in our scenario. Rule of thumb on a dual carriageway is obviously to stay to the left lane unless having to overtake a slow moving vehicle or pre-positioning for a right turn. Just as we approach the next bend to the right, the examiner will start to give you your next direction instruction, which is to take the next off slip to the left, which is in and around where you see a row of street lights starting. So once you see the street lights, good timing now for your mirrors, your signal. Bearing in mind you've got 70 mile an hour traffic approaching behind, so nice, easy, early braking. Into the off slip, down to second gear, and we're now going to enter Ballyrainy Road. Ballyrainy Road, still the national speed area, folks, but now it's down into a very, very sort of rural type of single carriageway, not marked in all of it, folks, and as you can see, it's starting to narrow in. So, the first couple of bends are quite tight. You've got cottages coming up here just on the right, so I'm just sort of positioning, anticipating cyclists, tractors, etc. Judge roughly where the centre of the road would be. You might see a bit of a seam line there, and you can use a bit more road if need be with the likes of potholes, etc. And if you do need to ease in for any larger vehicles, always check your mirrors and ease off. Now what I'm doing is I'm trying to just use acceleration sense rather than sort of braking from every corner. So I'm just coming up, I'm easing off, covering the brake if need be, checking round, looking and anticipating again the agricultural vehicles. When you get onto a fairly decent bit of straight, start to increase the speed slightly, and depending on the vehicle you're driving, could be third or fourth gear now. The car I'm driving is quite happy in third. Checking if a bit of a rough road, so I'm checking mirrors, easing out, taking up a better, smoother position. And this type of road, this type of the drive is all about making safe progress. And what you're showing your examiner on this type of road is that you're confident, but you're not overconfident. So you're not expected to have to do the full national speed, but obviously you're wanting to make safe progress. Various road signs for bends and horse and rider, etc. And we're now coming up to the sort of middle of this part of the road, so we can see slow, so we're just easing off. Slow is speed lower observed warning, that's a good way to think about it. And again, we're just easing off the throttle for the bends, just to get a nicer glide through. Depending on the time of your test, this could be quite a quiet road, but sort of early morning, late afternoon, it can be quite busy because it's seen as a bit of a shortcut on sort of school traffic, etc. Again, sort of an unmarked part of the road, so again, just, you know, trying to judge exactly where the middle is, checking as well for any rough areas, any potholes. And as you come up to corners, anticipating maybe somebody that could be more in the centre of the road, they could be overtaking maybe a pedestrian or a cyclist. And obviously you have a lot of sort of agricultural land, so you expect maybe the likes of tractors, combine harvesters, and so on to maybe be emerging out. Checking the mirror regular just to sort of keep up to date with obviously behind and beside, etc. And if you do feel that somebody's quite close, you know, check the mirrors, apply the brakes gently, because the brake lights will go on regardless of the pressure that you've applied to the pedals. The driver behind will not know how much you've applied, and hopefully should tend to drop back. The brake lights, they are a good form of signal as well. The last little section now, a lot of sort of potholes and rough areas just on the left, so that may cause a problem if there's any larger vehicles, etc. Checking ahead, we've got a pre-warning giveaway because the junction's just at the top of the hill, and your examiner will ask you to emerge onto the road to the left. So normal mirrors indicate if necessary if there's anybody that benefits from it. Positioning well into the corner if possible, like a 10-to-10 position. Normal checks, and we're now entering onto the A22, which basically goes from Dundonald to Cumber. Still national speed, better condition of road, good sort of width, etc. So they expect you to make progress according. And again, when you get to 45, depending on the vehicle, could be 4th or 5th gear. Now this stretch before the next turn, roughly about a minute and a half, maybe a couple of miles, something like that there. And it's just general driving, to be honest, unless you get cyclists or tractors that you need to come around. Always remember in your test, you're driving on sort of live roads, dealing with other road users, etc. And it's being aware, and it's also anticipating as well. Travelling around, we just keep following on the road there, ignoring the junction to the left, because you'll be told in good time whether you're going to turn left or right. Further on up, you're going to see with the trees near enough sort of overlap, there's a right turn quite soon coming up, which you'll be asked to take. Bear in mind you're on a faster road, so earlier mirror checks indicate to give information, and also applying your brakes gently, and that's your brake lights going on at the back as well. We've got what's known as a ghost island here and an off slip, so we're trying to avoid the ghost island if need be. And we're going to approach, looking for a gap in oncoming traffic. You'll notice here that I've stopped. There's a little bit of length left in your slip road. That is for lorries. So remember, just line up your door mirror as normal with the centre of the road you're going in, and that just gives you a nicer right turn. We've now emerged onto Glen Link in Cumber. There'll be a short drive down to a mini roundabout coming into view shortly, and you'll be asked to turn right. Normal procedure for the roundabout. The road that you're turning onto now is called Glen Road. And we're travelling a short distance. We're going to take the next road on the right just after the chair. So normal procedure, mirrors, signal if necessary. And we're now going to enter Londonderry Avenue. Just coming up on the left is a road that they possibly might do the left-hand reverse. They'll check, obviously, and pull you in before and check that it's safe. Or you may continue and go round in a sort of anti-clockwise loop. So we're now obviously into sort of urban hazards. We're sort of looking for parked cars, people crossing the roads. Again, rule of thumb is it's a 30-mile-an-hour limit, but it's a limit, it's not a target to hit. You may be asked to pull in. Obviously you're going to pull in somewhere safe and convenient as instructed by your instructor. At the end of this road we're going to turn to the left. Top mirror, left mirror, indicate if required. Normal observations at junctions, especially for cyclists. And we've now turned into Londonderry Park. Normal hazards, normal anticipation for urban areas. End of the road you'll be asked to turn to the right. And that will take us back onto Londonderry Avenue. End of the road, turn left. And this will bring you back onto Glen Road. Back down to the mini roundabout again, you'll be asked to turn right. So normal procedures with mirrors and indicators, checking and joining accordingly. You then follow the road you exit off, and you've now gone onto Railway Street. As we can see again, we've got speed ramps, so we're not going to go any higher than second gear. Road surface is quite rough here, so it might sort of throw you off on the camber, etc. Depending on the time of day, you can get quite a few park ones here, and you're quite close to a school as well. Obviously not expected on all driving tests, but if you've got an ice cream van, obviously expect children, etc. running out. You can look sort of for feet as well underneath the van, gives you an indication if there's any children that might jump out. Now if you encounter a bus, okay, hold well back to give yourself a view. Unless there's a big queue actually getting on the bus probably won't stop for that long. If there is a queue of passengers obviously waiting to get on, hold back, check your mirrors, indicate to the right, but make sure it's safe to emerge round it. At the end of this road, we will go to the left. Tucking in nicely to the left, and we've now entered Ballygowan Road, which will take us further down into Comber Town Centre. Normal rules to park cars, top mirror, right mirror. If you think you're going to break the line, indicate, moving out in the space required. Sometimes you can't take the full corridor width, but if you can, please do. And just negotiating down. Again, appropriate speed for the area. Could be sort of 15 to 20. At the traffic lights, your examiner will say nothing, and basically if you're told nothing as you approach lights and roundabouts, you're just following the road ahead. Each test route will have a bit of independent driving, where the examiner will pull you in, show you a map, or maybe give you directions to a certain destination, and then you have to follow that for roughly 5 minutes with minimal instructions given direction-wise by your examiner. Obviously you can ask if you come off route or you're not sure. Moving off the traffic lights, again, just bearing in mind, bikes, cyclists, etc. can be cutting through on either side, so a good sort of scan of both side mirrors is needed. We're now on Bridge Street, which is just travelling through Cumber Town Centre, and just normal rules guiding around parked cars, obstacles, etc. 30 miles an hour is the speed. We can see there's no parked cars, traffic's moving well, so your examiner will expect you up to the 30 if it's safe to do so. It's just normal driving, staying alert, checking the mirrors, checking the speed as well. So do like a pyramid check, top mirror, left mirror, speed check, right hand mirror. Keep up to date with the traffic conditions at all times. Your main roads get people trying to tailgate you, which is sort of driving closer, trying to push you on, but don't sort of go quicker to try and get away from them. Just keep the distance in front, and it's up to those drivers if they want to overtake you or not. At the next roundabout, you'll be asked to take the first exit to the left, following the signs to Newton Ards. Normal roundabout procedure. Entering now another dual carriageway. This is just Newton Ards Road. Down into the outskirts of Newton Ards. So we're at a 50 at the moment, although the street lights as repeater signs indicating a higher speed. And again, if everything's moving well, your examiner will expect you up to the speed and to make safe progress. Again, depending on the vehicle you're in, 4th gear, 5th gear. Coming up to national speed, just check your mirrors to make yourself aware of any behaviour changes, but obviously we're still limited to the 45. Very, very easy in this type of road to get drawn along with traffic and to start to go too quick. So that's why you should always check your speed as much as you check the mirrors. Very rarely you'd be in the right hand lane of a dual carriageway in your driving test, unless, as you can see, you were positioning for a right turn. You had very slow traffic, or obviously if road works diverted you out of the left lane. Now I see we've got an end of dual carriageway. Warning triangles, so we're starting to check. Right hand lane is shortly going to merge and finish, so we're just looking for any late sort of overtakers that might cause us to have to take evasive action. And drivers have been known to drive over the hatch markings there that you can see on the right. Back now in the two-way traffic as indicated by the warning triangle, so obviously overtaking now is at a higher risk. Further ahead we can see we've got a warning triangle there of a tighter bend to the left. We've also got a reduction in our speed limit. A red circle around a speed limit means your absolute maximum, and red circles, like a red traffic light, check your mirrors, start to ease off accordingly to get yourself down to that speed as you would get yourself down to a stop on a traffic light. Still on the A21 now, Comber Road, because we're obviously closer to Ards than we are to Comber. Starting to get a bit more sort of side roads off to the left and off to the right. This road can sort of build up queues, etc., but it's moving quite well at the time that we're making this video. Road deviates slightly to the left. We've got a traffic island in the centre. That's like a waiting point for pedestrians. There's a drop curb obviously there to assist prams and buggies, etc., and I suppose bicycles as well. This takes us up shortly to a roundabout. Again, at roundabouts, if you're not told direction-wise, generally you're following the road on, which is seen as straight. So we'll be doing just that at the roundabout. We'll be taking the second exit. And just normal roundabout procedures. This roundabout that we're coming up to, the advice is to practice different approaches, because some of the approaches you go straight in the right-hand lane. This one is just left guaranteed, with a right added on as well. And this is Comber Road roundabout, you're exiting off. You'll then be asked to take a left at the next traffic lights. Normal procedures. And this will turn us back into Jubilee Road, which again basically leads back up to the test centre. So we're back now, sort of, it's urban, but it's more industrial urban. So again, we're thinking about the learner drivers, the lorry drivers, and the lost people. Just as the video is being made here, we've got a few sort of pedestrians, well, joggers, etc. So I'm anticipating people to be taking different courses. This little corner here causes a lot of problems, so make sure you always stay roughly about a metre from the curb, so it positions you a lot better for when the road straightens. Although we're quite close to the test centre, you could be asked to take the next road on the right for a turn in the road, or you could be back up into the test centre and be asked to do a bay park. Now, sometimes if you're going to be asked to do a bay park, they will pull you in roughly about here, just a few car lengths before the gate. And then the instruction will be, when you enter in, we're going to do a bay park at the spaces that we left off, or started off the test, sorry. So coming into the test centre with 2 ramps to deal with. The first one's not too bad. You can take in first or second. The next one though is a lot higher, and you're looking first gear for this. And you could come back and see a scenario like this where somebody's doing a bay park, so you're better just sort of waiting for them just to see what they do, and so on. We're not really allowed to practice in here manoeuvres, so that's probably why they were just doing a bit of a check. What would happen is you would then be asked to take one of the spaces on the left, and when you park up, engine off, and that is the end of the test, and they will give you the result. Okay folks, I'm just driving and finishing coming out of the test centre, so thanks for watching Intensive Driving Courses NI. Please like and subscribe, and also spread the word to friends and families and future learners.